Project Freedom has begun. 15,000 troops, 100 aircraft, and a full naval armada are moving into the Strait of Hormuz. The world's energy artery is under fire. Gold is moving. Oil is spiking. And the Indian economy is bracing for impact. Welcome back to Yearn to Grow. This channel is about understanding finance and insurance clearly and calmly. No pressure, no shortcuts, just clarity. We start with a direct escalation. The US has officially launched Project Freedom. The goal? To secure shipping through the world's most dangerous choke point. The scale is massive. 15,000 American troops are involved. This isn't a drill. It's a full-scale naval effort involving destroyers and 100+ aircraft. But it's not just what's on the surface. The US confirmed that undersea assets are deployed, creating a multi-layered security net across the Hormuz floor. Iran's response was immediate and violent. Missiles and drones were launched in a coordinated barrage. The US claims to have intercepted the cruise missiles. 6 Iranian small boats were reportedly destroyed. The US is signaling total control, but Iran is denying major parts of these claims, fueling global uncertainty. Then the UAE got hit. A major oil port was set ablaze. Reuters reports this was a direct result of Iranian missiles. This shifts the conflict from sea to shore. The UAE has signaled that this is a serious escalation. They are reserving the right to respond. We are now looking at a potential regional spillover. The reports are conflicting. Iran claims it forced a US warship to turn around. The US disputes this, describing the encounter as warning shots only. Fog of war. Merchant shipping is in total chaos. Multiple ships reported explosions. Maersk has confirmed their US-flagged vessels are now moving under heavy escort. South Korea reported an engine room fire on one of its vessels. It remains unclear if this was a direct attack or mechanical failure. But in this climate, markets assume the worst. The UK maritime trade operations has been ringing the alarm. Reports of ships hit off the UAE coast are coming in every few hours. The supply chain is vibrating. ADNOC confirmed an empty tanker was hit by drones. This proves that even empty vessels aren't safe, forcing insurers to spike premiums across the board. Now, for the insight. This isn't just about ships, it's about the supply risk premium. When 20% of global oil is at risk, the market stops trading on fundamentals and starts trading on fear. Brent is holding near $114. WTI is near 104. These aren't just numbers, they are the cost of global energy security being recalculated in real time. Iran has expanded its control map. They are now claiming zones that include the UAE coastline. This is a direct threat to the bypass ports that were meant to avoid Hormuz. By pressuring UAE bypass ports, Iran is tightening the noose on the entire region's exports. This suggests a long-term strategy of maritime strangulation. The fragile ceasefire is under direct strain. Reuters says the exchange of fire between the US and Iran has effectively shattered the peace. We are back in a war footing. Let's break down the oil map for today. Brent is in a critical zone. Support is at 113.50. If we drop below that, we look at 110. But look at the upside trigger at 115.30. If headlines worsen, we could see a squeeze toward $118 or even $120. In a geopolitical flow risk market, resistance levels can vanish in seconds. UTI is watching the $100 psychological support. If we hold 104, the next resistance is 106. But a fresh explosion could send it straight to 110. The bullish path for oil is driven by any fresh incident. A ship hit, a UAE response, or Iran tightening its control zone will send Brent retesting its highs immediately. The bearish path requires credible de-escalation. A safe corridor functioning with fewer incidents would trigger a technical correction toward 110. But don't bet on it yet. Expect whipsaws. This isn't a supply-demand week. This is a headline-driven market. Big candles followed by big reversals are the most likely path today. Now gold. XAUST is around 4,544 after bouncing from a 5-week low. It's caught between two forces, geopolitical fear and rising interest rate expectations. Support is firm at 4,530. If escalation looks uncontrollable, gold will push through 4,555 and grind toward the $4,600 magnet. That's the risk-off play. But there's a cap. Higher yields and a stronger dollar are fighting the gold rally. If US data remains strong, Gold will get pushed back toward 4,500. The Fed angle is hard right now. Markets worry the oil shock keeps inflation sticky. This pushes rate cut hopes out and could even revive the threat of hikes. That is, gold's ceiling. Let's realize the impact on India. This isn't a distant war, it is a direct hit to the Indian economy. When oil spikes, the Indian rupee is the first casualty. The rupee hit a record low today. Oil pressure is too much. We are seeing RBI-linked interventions just to keep the currency from a total freefall. Indian equities followed. Elevated crude has hit sentiment hard. Banks and industrial giants are leading the sell-off. The risk is now visible in the Nifty and Sensex. Specifically, companies like L&T are being flagged due to their massive Middle East exposure. Any instability there is a direct risk to their order books and future revenue. The chain is clear. Hormuz tension drives oil up. That makes India's import bill explode. The rupee weakens, inflation risk rises, and the RBI loses flexibility to support growth. This sours equity sentiment across the board. Fuel-sensitive sectors and banks are under the most pressure as high oil prices drain liquidity and increase default risks. Ironically, the domestic news is good. Election trends show political stability, with the BJP sweeping West Bengal and Assam. Normally, this would be a massive market booster. But the oil shock is drowning out the election premium. Domestic stability cannot save the market from a global energy crisis. External shocks are currently in the driver's seat. The takeaway is simple. Geopolitical risk is your primary metric today. You must watch the headlines as closely as your charts. Volatility isn't just noise, it's a signal. Reassess your risk levels now. In this environment, cash is a position. Protecting your capital is as important as growing it. Don't chase the whipsaws. Wait for the trend to stabilize. History teaches us that the greatest fortunes are built in times of absolute uncertainty. Consider the story of those who faced a crisis and chose resilience over panic. One difficult day at a time. That is how character is built. To truly understand this, we must look at the long-term context of the Hormuz choke point. Historically, any closure of this strait has led to a minimum 30% surge in global energy costs. We are currently in the early stages of that pattern. Global shipping lanes are being rerouted as we speak. This adds thousands of miles to every voyage, increasing fuel consumption and carbon taxes, further fueling the inflationary fire. It's a compounding effect. The mechanical strain on these vessels is also increasing. Rerouting through the Cape of Good Hope means navigating rougher waters and longer durations, leading to higher maintenance costs for global freight companies. Inflation alerts are flashing globally. From Europe to Asia, central banks are watching Hormuz. The supply-side shock is the most difficult type for central banks to control, as interest rates cannot produce more oil. While the world talks about energy transition, the current reality remains dominated by crude. Project Freedom is a reminder that the old energy world still dictates the pace of the new economy. This is the friction we live in. Traders are now looking for hedges. Gold, energy stocks, and even some commodities are the only places to hide. But even these are subject to the same geopolitical whipsaws we discussed earlier. Direct awareness is your best defense. In India, the NSE and BSE are becoming a battleground between domestic optimism and global reality. The election results provided the optimism, but Hormuz is providing the reality. This tug of war defines the current trading week. The RBI's next move is critical. Will they prioritize currency stability or growth? With the rupee at record lows, their hands are tied. Expect more interventions and a potentially hawkish tone in the next policy meeting. Ultimately, this hits the common man. Fuel prices drive food prices. The impact chain leads directly to the kitchen table. Understanding these global events isn't just for traders, it's for anyone planning their future in this economy. Knowledge is the only way to navigate this darkness. Stay informed, stay calm, and always look for the underlying pattern. This is how you grow through the volatility. This is the yearn to grow mindset. As we look toward the horizon, India's long-term story remains strong. But the short-term path is through a storm. Prepare your portfolio, protect your peace of mind, and stay tuned as we break down every development. Precious metals will continue to play a pivotal role. Keep an eye on the 4,600 level for gold. It is the line in the sand. A break above that signals a total shift into global risk-off mode. Watch it closely. Direction is more important than speed. In a whipsaw market, many traders lose everything trying to be fast. The smart ones focus on the direction of the trend. Currently, the trend in risk is clearly pointing upward. Take a moment to step back. Don't overtrade. The best move in a storm is often to stay in port until the path is clear. We will provide that clarity, step by step, right here on Yearn to Grow. Stay disciplined. The dollar's strength is the final piece of the puzzle. As long as it remains the safe haven of choice, emerging markets like India will feel the heat. It is a global game of chess, and Hormuz is the current board. Time is of the essence. Every headline changes the math. But the structure of the market remains the same. Understand the structure, and you will understand the headlines. We believe in India's potential to navigate this crisis, but it requires an informed citizenry. Share this knowledge, discuss these concepts, and as always, yearn to grow. We will see you in the next breakdown. In the end, clarity is the greatest asset you can own, more valuable than gold, more powerful than oil. We are here to help you build that asset, one lesson, one day at a time. Thank you for watching.